Hi, my name is Sylvie. I am a certified health coach and yoga instructor, and today I'm going to show you how to get better at backbends. I've been working on my backbends for about 1.5 years and definitely improved. If you want other routines that I've done and other tips that I have for you to get better at your backbends, check the link in the description below where you'll find the blog post. Today's routine is going to address some deficits that I've noticed after having been consistent in my backbending practice. Mostly it's about shoulder flexibility. You'll notice that the average backbending flow doesn't include that many shoulder opening poses, and that's what we'll work on today. We'll have a few shoulder opening poses and we'll have back opening poses, back strengthening poses. You'll have everything to ensure that you get better at your backbends. We're going to get started in the puppy pose. As I said, we're going to work on your shoulders. Start on all four and then crawl your fingers forward as you lift your butt high and sink your chest towards the mat. You can stay on your fingertips as I'm doing here, or you can just place the palm of your hands on the mat. As you sink in this stretch, imagine your chest is sinking towards the mat and focus on that. Also, focus on lifting your butt, making your butt wide and high. Pull your arms toward the midline. Keep some energy in your arms. Don't just collapse. You're keeping your arms active. We'll be holding most stretches for about a minute today. As you open, you may notice that you can bring your chest closer to the mat. And to lift back up, press your hands forward and get back into all four. And now you're going to bring your right foot beside your right hand. We're going to get in your low lunge. In your low lunge, you're going to keep your legs active with your feet pulling towards one another. It's like you have a scissor action going with your legs. And you're going to lift high and create a bit of a back bend. You can bring your hands back, and eventually, as your flexibility increases, you may be able to take your hands down on the mat. I'm quite far from doing this, but eventually that is something I would like to be able to do. Gaze in front of you. Keep your chest nice and open. Draw your shoulder blades back and down. And also keep your abs engaged. Anytime you're in a back bend, you're not just collapsing in your belly, you're keeping your belly lifted. Another thing to think about is to engage your left glute. That'll help make sure that your hips are facing forward. Next, you're going to take your left hand beside your right foot, and you're going to open your chest, bring your right hand back, and bend your left leg to bring your left foot in your right hand. Here again, make sure you are keeping your chest wide and your shoulder blades back and down. We're going to switch side. Bring your left foot in front. And we're going to create that back bend. Keep the scissoring action with your legs active. Open your chest. Gaze in front of you. Maybe you can activate your arms and see how far back you can go. Next, bring your right hand beside your left foot and bend that right leg. You're going to open your chest and grab your right foot with your left hand. Lower your right foot and we're going to get in Cobra. Lower yourself down on your belly. And depending on your level of flexibility, you can bring your hands under your armpits and have your elbows at a 90-degree angle and just lift as high as you can. It doesn't have to be very high. Again, in the Cobra, you want to open your chest. You're pulling your hands toward your hips. That'll help press your chest through your arms and bring your chest forward. You don't want to bend your neck back like that. You want to gaze forward. Also, something I try to think about in my back bends is to not clench my butt too much. You can engage your butt muscles, of course, but you try to relax them because they do tend to get really tense. Now lower yourself. Place your head on your hand. Here we're going to bend your right leg as you lift in Sphinx pose, which means that your left arm will be at a 90-degree angle. Can stay like that. You can also do the half frog, which is what I'm going to do. I'm going to press my foot close to my butt and stretch my chest as I open here. And then I'm going to lift on the palm of my hand. Switch side. Bend your left leg. And then hold your left foot with your left hand. You can stay here or straighten your right arm. Let go of your left foot and lower yourself. Now we're going to stretch your shoulders. Once again, we're going to sit with your knees stacked. This is called cow face pose. And so you want to stack your knees. And I have the left leg under it right now, but it doesn't matter which leg you start with. And then you're going to raise your right arm and clasp your hands behind your back. If you can't reach, you can just use your elbow and press your right forearm that way. Just like so. When I stretch here, I like to focus on pressing my tricep back. We're gonna switch leg. And also switch arm. Here I'm going to lift my left arm and clasp with my right hand behind my back. Next, we're gonna get in camel pose. Camel is one of my favorite poses to straighten and stretch my back. Here, you can tuck your toes or keep them untucked. You're going to breathe as you lift your chest. You can take your hands on your lower back and open your chest and breathe as you lower yourself back, keeping your hips forward. So that's one way you can start. Let's stay here for a few breaths. Also, as you inhale, you can lengthen And then as you exhale, see if you can bend back further. Now you can get out of the pose for a few breaths. We're gonna do the same thing without placing your hands on your lower back. You can stay there if you find that feels better, but I'm going to take my hands to my feet. And again, if you tuck your toes, your heels are closer. You can do that. And you wanna make sure that you inhale, lengthen, open your chest, and then as you exhale, you bend in the pose. Press your hips forward. Keep your legs active towards the midline. Now you can lift back up and sit on your heels. We're gonna stretch your shoulders again. This time it's going to be a sideline stretch, and you're going to lie on your belly, extend your right arm, and then roll over, taking your left foot behind you. Place your cheek on the mat and feel your chest opening. You can also take your left hand back. Roll over to your left side. Next, we're going to get back in Cobra for a short moment before we do the wheel pose. And if you are not ready to do the wheel pose, no worries. You can just end your routine right after this stretch and keep practicing until you're ready to get in the wheel pose. And I do have more advice in the blog post for you to get in the wheel pose. You're going to lift in Cobra as we did earlier. Fill your chest with air. Bring your shoulders down. And here you're going to bend your knees. Again, I want you to make sure you're pulling your hands towards you. This helps open your chest. Lower your feet. And now we're going to do 5 wheels. I know 5 wheels might sound like a lot, but my backbending practice increased exponentially when I started doing 5 wheels each time I worked on my backbends. But if you're pretty new to backbends, and if you want to just get better at your backbends for now, you're not looking at a perfect wheel or even at doing the King Pigeon yet, just start with 1. That's how I started. I started with 1 wheel each time I practiced. Then I went up to 3 wheels. Now I am up to 5, and I'm gonna stick to number 5 until I can do my King Pigeon. Now you're on your back and you can tickle your heels with your fingertips. Bring your shoulder blades back. Press your tailbone on the mat. Press the base of your neck on the mat too. And now bring your hands on each side of your head. Lift your hips by pressing your feet forward, and you're going to lift yourself. You can start on the crown of your head like that. Draw your shoulder blades back and down, and then press your chest forward in your wheel. There's all kinds of activations going on in the wheel, and I go through all of them in the blog post. Here, I'm just gonna focus on breathing. Inhale forward, and then exhale back. Actually, I notice I'm not even doing that really. I'm just kind of going back and forth, whatever way feels good. Then tuck your chin and lower yourself down slowly. That's 1. I often need a pretty long break between my wheels, and most of the yoga instructors that I watch and follow don't take a long break at all, and I pause the video. So you can do that, because there's a pretty good chance that here I'll be taking a longer break than what you'll see, because I might just edit the video to be more time efficient. And so this way each person can just decide how long to rest and pause the video. Let's set up for our second wheel. Same way we did before, except this time I'm going to raise without going on the crown of my head. Sometimes I try to adjust my hands, because I just find that they're a bit too far once I'm up. Also, I want to make sure that I stretch in my shoulders and my chest. Maybe next time I'll count to know how long to stay in my wheel. I'm gonna lower down slowly here now. Let's get in our third wheel. You're going to press your chest forward, press your feet forward so they're going the opposite directions. And I'm gonna count to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Lower slowly. Only 2 more wheels left if you're doing all 5, but you don't have to. 10 seconds was intense. The next 2 wheels, I think I'm gonna do 5. Let's get ready. Lifting my hips. And then taking my hands on each side of my head, pressing up. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Lower down slowly. Okay, so let's set up for that last wheel. I take my arm bones behind me as I lift my hips high and then keep the chest open, shoulder blades back, and press your chest up and through your arms. One, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Wheels are like the most intense and energizing yoga pose, in my opinion. I love them. And now we're going to get in the pigeon because one of my goals to get better at backbends is to get my full pigeon. I'm still working on that. And we are going to stretch in the pigeon as well as in the king pigeon. You most likely will need a strap if you can't get your full king pigeon. I'm guessing that you can't if you looked for a video that would teach you how to get better at backbends. We're gonna get started in down dog. Now you're going to bring your knee to your right tricep and bring your foot near your left wrist as you lower down. Here you don't need to lower very low. You want to keep your legs active. And as you notice here, I'm keeping my left toes tucked. Want to keep your legs very strong at first. And also, you may need a block later when we get lower in the pose. So since I'm keeping my legs active, I'm not touching the floor. But if that's really too difficult for you at this point, you can use a block like I said. You can also support yourself with your hands. I'm gonna inhale, raising my arms, opening the chest. And slowly release. Now let's see how far you can sink in your pigeon. Lower to your forearms. And as you stay here, imagine again you're pulling your forearms towards you, bringing your chest out through your arms. And now you're going to lift your left knee, engage your left leg, and see if that helps stretch your right leg. That is in the pigeon pose. Lower that left knee slowly. And you probably feel that you can get deeper now in your pigeon. And so we're going to bend that left knee and see if you can hold your foot with your left hand. Again, your legs are pretty active. And you can also bring your foot in your elbow crease. I'm gonna stay here. Let go of your foot now. And we're gonna repeat that on the other side. Down dog. Normally, people would go for the three-legged down dog and then bring your knee to your armpit with your foot near the right wrist. I didn't do that on the first side because after my back bends, I feel like my spine doesn't want to do anything. Here we're going to open in a high pigeon, engaging your legs, pulling your feet towards one another. And then inhale, open your chest. Exhale. Bring your forearms on the mat. Now lift your right knee and feel the stretch wherever. Lower that knee. It's time to get in your mermaid on the second side. So you're going to bend that right leg and grab your right foot with your right hand. Again, in this pose, you are engaging your legs. You'll feel the stretch in so many different areas. I love that. You're opening your chest and drawing your shoulder blades back and down. Lower your foot. And now it's time to practice our King Pigeon using the strap. We're going to start with the left leg in front. And you're going to put your strap on your right foot. You can start with only one hand holding the strap and see how stable you are in the pose. See how much you can bring your foot closer to you. And then use the other hand as well. You might lose your balance. That's why you may want to use blocks. You're lifting your chest and drawing your shoulder blades back and down. Also your elbows towards the midline. Let go of your strap and lower your foot. Time to switch side. Wrap your strap around your left foot. Let yourself open some more, and then you can also use the other hand on the strap. Let go of your strap and lower that left foot. This will certainly be my go-to backbending routine from now on. If you stay consistent doing that, you can be sure that you'll get better at backbends. Like any other aspect of your yoga practice, it's all about consistency and picking the right routines to achieve your goals. Thank you for watching and see you next week.